So our section today is 8.4, area of triangles, and our objective is to be able to calculate the area of a triangle. Okay, so our first part here on our warm-up is to find the area. This shape here, what shape is this? It's a square, and how do we find the area of a square? Side squared. Okay, so we know that the area is equal to my side length total squared. So what is 15 times 15? 225. And then we need to make sure we have that centimeters squared. So you need to make sure your units are on it, and when it's area, it's squared. Our second one, it is a rectangle. What's our area for that? Yep, base times height. Area equals base times height. Base is 12 meters. Height is 16 meters. So what is our value? 192 meters squared. And then our third one, you have two options. Do you guys like the add up each piece and then, or do you like it as the add the whole and subtract? So let's do the whole area and then we'll subtract. So if this is still something you're weak on, we'll practice it. So right now we're going to draw it in as if this is a whole rectangle. And we want to find the area of the entire thing. So that would be as if the whole thing was shaded in gray. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate the area total. Area total. We know that our height of our area total, we don't actually have, so we have to find it. So we know this part's 4, this part's 2, and this part's 2. So when we add all those together, what do we get? I'll highlight this and let's do it in pink. So you have the height of 2 right here. You have a height of 4, and you have a height of 2. So it's going to be 8 because it's 2 plus 4 plus 2. So we end up with 8 feet here. So you have 8 feet for your height. I'll do the whole thing like this. Okay, and then we need to find our base. So when we do our base, we know we have a length of 2 and then a length of 4. So what's that whole thing going to be? 6. So we know this whole thing is going to be 6 because it's 2 plus 4 gives you 6 feet. Okay, so the total area is going to be your 6 feet times your 8 feet. Does anybody want to do that for us? 48 feet squared. Okay, and then we have to calculate the two areas that are not included. So we need to find this area and we need to find this area. But this is the easier method because the areas that are cut out already have their length and width with it, right? Base and height, base and height. So we know at the top one, we have, let's see, area 1, which is going to be 2 feet times 4 feet, which is how much? 8. So that's going to be 8 feet. And then down here, you see area 2 has 2 feet and 2 feet. So that gives me 4 feet squared. I left off my square on the top one. I apologize. Okay, so now we have the total area, and we need to subtract these two portions from it. So we have 48 feet minus 8 feet minus 4 feet. So what are we left with? All these should be squared. 36 feet squared. Yep. Okay, so your other option would have been labeling these as section 1, 2, and 3. So A1, A2, A3. Find the area of each piece and then adding them. Whichever one's easier for you guys works for me. This method is probably my preferred one for this problem. And our last question is a rectangular mural has an area of 504 square feet and a height of 12 feet. What is going to be the length of the base? So this one is one of those going backwards problems. We know the area, we know one side. How do we solve for the other? Yep, we're going to have to divide. I would like to work this out on top because I know those of you in the back have a hard time seeing it. So I'm going to move number 4 up to the top. So we have 4 here. And what we're going to do is we have the total area. So area equals base times height. So 504 feet squared equals my height of 12 feet times my base. So Ashley already told us we're going to divide over the 12 feet. Divide over the 12 feet. When we do that, what is our base length? So we get 42 feet. Thank you, ma'am. So flashback, we did area of a triangle in your previous math classes. Remember, area of a triangle is base times height times 1/2. So 1/2 base times height. So this is the portion that should be on your page. All the rest of it is given to you. We're once again finding the area of these triangles. So we know the area formula from the last slide is area equals 1/2 base times height. So in our first example, I have 1/2. What's my base? 12 inches times my height of 5 inches. You know that 2 goes into 12 how many times? 6. So 6 times 5 is 30 inches squared. Our second one, same idea, but now you see that the height, they drew it right here. So we have our 1/2, our height of 4 centimeters, and our base length of 8 centimeters. How often does 2 go into 4? What? Yep, 2 times. So now we have 2 times 8, which is 16 centimeters squared. We're just doing this math right here. 1/2 times 4 is 2. So 2 times 8 is 16 centimeters squared. Okay, so our first one here, we have area equals base times height. Okay, so I have 1/2 base. What's my base? 14 feet times my height of 5 feet. You're saying it right. So how often does 2 go into, gentlemen? Okay, so when we're here, how often does 2 go into 14? What is 1/2 of 14? 7. So this cancels. We now have 7. What's 7 times 5? 35 feet squared. Okay, on number 4. Ramel, you want to tell me how you got that answer? 1/2. What's my base? 6 inches times 9 inches. You got what? 54. Times 1/2. And it gave you what value? 27. And what is our units? Inches squared. So our first part right here, now we're finding the missing measurement. You have the area, you have the base, but you want to find the height. So you're going to substitute in for what you have. I'll do these above again so the people in the back can see it a little easier. 5. We know area equals 1/2 base times height. So what is our area in our first problem? 15 inches squared. Yep. Equals 1/2. And then my base is what? 10 inches. Okay. Times my height. Okay, Rio, what did you do next?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to be helpful.
Okay, you two behave. Rio, what did you do next? Okay, so how much does 2 go into 10?
I just divide.
So you ended up with 5 here. Okay, we want to get that by itself. How do I get that by itself? Okay, so we have multiplication occurring. So to get the h by itself, what do I have to do? I've got to divide. We divide by 5 inches. You get 3 inches. Notice that this is different because in area, you have squares, but now we're only finding one part of it. There's no square on it. It's just going to be inch or inches. Okay, our next one, we are going to do number 6. I'll write it above again. Same setup. You have your area of 126 centimeters squared equals 1/2. I don't know what my base is, but my height is at 12 centimeters times my height. Okay, so I now have 126 centimeters. What is half of 12? 6 centimeters times my height. How do I get my height by itself? Divide by 6 centimeters. I ended up with what? Yep, 21 centimeters is our height. So our theorem here of areas of similar polygons, if two polygons are similar with a scale factor of a to b, then the ratio of their areas is a squared to b squared. Okay, so our first one, we want to find the area of ABC. So I'm going to find ABC's area. So we have the 1/2. What's my base of ABC?
Are we writing this?
This is still on your notes. We have to do the last problem on your notes. Times 5. So half of 10 is? Times 5 is? 25. Over here, we want to find the area of triangle DEF. That's going to be 1/2 of 6 times 3. What is 1/2 of 6 times 3? It's 9. So we want to write this as a ratio of A or DEF to ABC. Hey guys, hold it together. We're almost done.
I got one question. So what he did multiply 6 times 3 and then divide by 2.
Yep. Okay, so it says DEF first. That means that goes on top. So 9 to 25. Can 9 and 25 reduce? They do not. So our answer is 9 to 25. You can write it as a fraction or you can write it with your colon. Okay.